What's up, YouTube vinyl community? Will with Southern Grails back here with another video. Yesterday was the Atlanta record show in Marietta, Georgia. They have it here twice a year, I think, and it was fantastic. And you guys follow me on Instagram. You've seen some of the stuff I was bringing back. I took a nice stack of some rare records to do some wheeling and dealing and trading. This year was a little bit different. There was dealers were a little more open to haggle, and I don't mean as far as trading. There wasn't that much of that. They wanted the cash, but I noticed they were much more willing to wheel and deal. And another sad note, kind of off topic, but I've noticed a few people that I follow on Instagram that are shutting down shop. They're closing their brick and mortar stores, and some people that had booths yesterday at the show were letting stuff go cheap because they're like, I'm giving it up. And I was like, wow. And that's a common thing, that I've been hearing, that the good finds that you find, like, state sales and thrift stores and stuff like that, like those days are kind of long gone since like 2017, 2018, when the vinyl boom really started to happen. And, I've just been hearing that it's a reoccurring message that, it's pretty much now private collectors and private collections that people are trying to buy. And I'm speaking specifically upon people who do this either as a side hustle or as their full-time job. That it's very difficult right now to now for some, this is generally, this isn't exclusive, but that it's difficult to have a brick and mortar store because half of your profits are going just for rent and roof and electricity and things like that. But anyway, not to get in a spiel about that, let's show some records. That's what you're here for, right? So here's some of the cool ones that I found yesterday that I'm going to throw up in this week's auction. So if you follow me, every Saturday evening I start a new auction. I try to do between 60. Sometimes I'll do 200 records. It all just depends because I got 3 kids. It all just depends on how much time they let me have throughout the week. Let's jump right into this. First one up, sealed Shirley Scott on Strata East. It's got Billy Higgins, Harold Vick on the sax. Harold Vick did another one. I've actually got it up there on Strata East, and he had a head title on Blue Note. But Shirley on the organ, Billy on the drums, just Harold Vick. Really nice trio. You don't see these kind of trios where it's just organ, sax, and drums. Really nice sealed copy. Somebody's gonna be happy to have that. So this one I was kind of tempted to keep. I'd seen it before, but I'd never really listened to it all the way through. But this is Mighty Baby. This is a self-titled. Now this is a first U.S. pressing. Originally came out in '69 on the same label head, but it was out of the UK. It's good. It's prog. It's prog rock. It's got a little hint of blues rock in it. It's a good album. Don't get me wrong. It's not really my flavor, and I hope I don't care if I do offend anybody. It seems just a little hippie rock to me. If it was a little more shredding, maybe a little more fuzz guitar, or like a little more of a drum break, but it's just kind of steady, like not heavy folk rock, but it's just, you guys know this is a well-known album. This isn't nothing new, I'm telling you, but it's very clean. It's gonna be up at auction Saturday. This one here, man, this is another tough one to keep. It's not a rare record. It's a pretty expensive record, but it's one you can find relatively cheap. Not relatively cheap, relatively easy, because they made a lot of them. Let's Ramp, Come Into Knowledge. This is an original, of course. Yeah, early Roy Ayers, heavy funk, soul funk, just incredible. There was a few on this ABC Blue Thumb. If you see those, check them out, especially if it's funk. Really good. That'll be up Saturday. This is a copy I've had a few times, but I'm seeing them more and more. But you don't see them that often. That's Maceo and all the Kingsmen. Original 70 on House of the Fox. if you don't know, those that do know, you know, this was James Brown backing band. They had enough of his ish. You know, James Brown was a difficult person to work with. Talent aside, one of the most talented performers, you know, of the last 100 years, but tough man to deal with. They told James, we're kicking rocks, and we're gonna start our own. We're gonna start our own band. This is just a pivotal, essential jazz funk album you need to have in your collection. It's been reissued. You can find the originals. If you're doing something real, this one's really clean. Always tempted to keep them when they're clean like this, but I'm gonna send this out to the people. I'll get a shot at it. This is one I didn't know nothing about, but when you see a cover like this, you don't pass it up. This is a band called Volts. This is called Shock Treatment. This is out of. Yeah, I did have my light on, so you can see the condition out. Now that's kind of nice right there. Yeah, this is out of a small label out of New Mexico. It's normal hard rock. It's normal hard rock. Got a little hint of hair metal, but it's really, really cool. Rare too. Check out the back of it. I kind of give you an idea. Look at that power stance. That's a small power stance, but that's a power stance right there. That says I'm here to do stuff. But yeah, really cool. Hardly ever comes up for sale. And when you see a cover like that, you just take a shot in the dark and you try it. And I got it at a good price. These can fetch a little bit when they have come up for sale. You know, maybe $100. I've seen them go higher than that. Okay, this one here, and I feel like I'm saying this all the time. I'm so tempted to keep all of these because I'm sick and I have a problem. And I think most of y'all that are watching might agree that maybe you too. We're all in this. We're all in this because we're possessive creatures, and also the music is fabulous. This one here is incredibly rare, and this is one of those ones that you see at a show that is just, what's the word I'm looking for? Erroneously underpriced, egregiously underpriced. That's the word I'm looking for. This is Cecil Lied, Stone Free. This is 1980. This is like private press, boogie soul funk, everything you want. Kind of in that 80s, early 80s, late 70s soul funk. Private. Look at that. Look at that cover. As Dion would say, it looked wet, but they was dry. He's got some nice curls, and that thing is shining. But yeah, man, this is really heavy funk bass. It's got some lighter soul songs to it. But this hasn't sold in a while. They've reissued it. They reissued it later in 1980 with a red cover, and I think they've reissued it in like 2016 or 2017. But really good. Not the best recording, but just one of those rare ones that you don't see, and it's got the funk like a hot cup of coffee. Kind of get you going. Okay, this one here. I mean, this is not a rare one, but it's one you can find relatively easy. That's the Beatles' White Album on white vinyl. I think this is like 1978. I think it's 1978. Yeah, 1978. Just for the Beatles collectors, you know, white on white. White on white. Can't be wrong. Okay, this is one I actually, this band here, when me and the guy were talking about it, it was the same guy that I got that the Volts, that label out of New Mexico. I've actually got this band on my want list, but it's their first one. This is their second one. This is called Desiree Tapes. This is kind of, it's kind of like, it's German krautrock. Not like not experimental like Tangerine Dream, not like that far out, but just your normal German krautrock. Really rare. Prices of this has kind of been all over the place. You know, when they pop up on Discogs, you know, they'll go for $100, but I've seen them on eBay go for 40, 50 bucks. So it's kind of one of those all over the place, those all over the place ones. But if you got your eye on it, this one could go cheap, and it's near mint. I mean, the wax looks untouched. Really cool stuff. All right, let's go down to Australia. I picked up some AC/DC, some original Albert Productions. Doesn't have the kangaroo. This is a later, I think a 76 pressing. Yeah, because this was released in, doesn't say. I think this was released in 75, and this is a 76 pressing. Because you always want to look for the original Alberts would have that little kangaroo. They call them the blue roo. I think that's what they call them. But still, really sought after for the AC/DC collectors. Dude, where I got these, he also had. God, I wish I had to blow my whole load. There was so much great stuff there. Dude, he had these AC/DC promotional transcriptions that were just, you know, I when I was looking them up, I'd seen some had sold for $2,000, $2,500. Just a normal promo transcription on Atlantic. You know, nothing. I mean, it's rare, but it was crazy rare. And he had I think he had 2 of those along with some really rare promo, not transcription type, but promo prints, singles that were just astronomical. But anyway, more AC/DC. TNT. Another one on Albert. This is a later pressing. I think this is a 76. No, this is 75, but this is a 77 pressing. Still a really great one. The wax is like untouched, and it rocks. I was spinning it yesterday, and my kids were just, when I put the rock, it's so funny. My kids, when I put the rock on, they'll do the 2-step. They'll bounce like this because, you know, when I would put on Metallica, I would do power stance and I'd head bang, and then sometimes my kids would try to join in. And then when I put the funk on, they just bounce straight up and down. It's the funniest thing. But anyway, all right, another one from Australia. It's a band called Finch, Thunderbird on Eagle. I should turn that light back on. Yeah, just this. It's in the same vein, AC/DC. Not quite as catchy riffs as Angus can put down, but still, for that Australian rock, look at that. Yeah, really good, cool. You know, when you see the cover, you're like, what the hell is that? He's like, oh man, that's really cool, the AC/DC rock. And I'm looking it up, and of course, you got no service there. And it was so frustrating. I'm like, I want to hear what this sounds like, because, you know, when you see stuff you don't know, you want to know what it sounds like. Just pull it up on YouTube real quick, and it's just buffering and buffering and buffering and buffering. And so it's like, all right, I'll take a shot and I'll listen to it when I get home. I wasn't disappointed. Really good. Really, really tough to find these, and this is a super duper clean copy. Okay, here's my keepers. So I only got a few. Make this video quick. So let's get off to the boring stuff. I know y'all really don't care about classical music, but for all of you that are diggers and pickers and you like to make $1, do not skip over that classical, man. There not only is the music, to me, there's a reason why 300 years later we're still listening to classical. Is there any other genre of music that's lasted 300 years that people are still actively seeking out today? Because I got a lot of return customers from Japan, China. China's a big classical buyers. Yeah, it's huge. So, you know, a lot of these, like if you go to thrift stores, you go to estate sales, even record stores, I've seen it, man. They will put really great, you know, early 60s stereo classicals that for that market, that's what they want. They want those late 50s, early 60s classical records, because, you know, they were recording on tube equipment, which audiophiles will tell you that was peak recording era. So let's knock these two out the way, because I know you don't care. This is Pierre Fournier doing the Bach unaccompanied cello. Or is this unaccompanied? Yeah. No, this is unaccompanied violin. We see that Archive Productions. Now, a lot of it's going to be like Baroque, you know, that late 1600s kind of cheesy stuff. But there's a few titles. When you see cello, when you see violin, look up the artists. There's a few on this. Most of these ain't worth nothing. But there's a few that go for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. There's a three LP box set of Bach's unaccompanied violin performances that goes for like $1,500. So if you see that, take a quick look at it. Also, for those that collect, I shouldn't have to tell you, but when you see these United Kingdom Columbia labels, that blue and silver, grab it. I don't care. Take it home. It's going to be something good. Stereo, the sound quality is going to be amazing. But yeah, this is Brahms' Double Concerto, Traffic Overture, with David Oistrakh and Pierre Fournier, the guy on the last one I just showed you. Incredible, incredible. I had to hunt this one down in Germany. Super duper happy to find it. Coming up next, it's the Mal Waldron Trio. Free at last. This is the first title on ECM. Really nice, yeah, just contemporary jazz trio. Nothing to get excited about, but boy, first one on ECM. ECM put out some great stuff. I think our music's done. Okay, up next, let's see. Yep, Horst Silver Quintet, Silver Serenade. This is original 63. Really good, standard, hard bop. All original compositions from Horst Silver, and that thing is clean. It sounds good. Junior Cook on the tenor and Blue Mitchell on the sax. Junior Cook on the sax and Blue Mitchell on the trumpet. Yeah, Junior Cook. He didn't put out a lot of stuff, but man, he can really blow it. Now these next two are ones that I got from the show, and I was gonna put them up at auction, but after I'd cleaned them and I was listening to them this morning, they pass muster, man, for the permanent collection. For those that I've spoken to on Instagram, just bear with me. I might change my mind, so just bear with me. I'm going to enjoy these for a little bit. They might end up going, maybe not. But this one up, I've seen this before. I've never seen one in person. When I've seen them posted on like Instagram, they usually beat to death. This is Soul. Can you feel it? Original 70. What is this? 71. 1971. When did this come out? 70 or 71. Yeah. So this is their second album. They didn't put out a lot, man, but this is just beautiful soul, jazz, funk. This thing is in the shrink. Super clean. It's got one little tiny mark on the intro of A. Has a few light ticks in the runoff, but once the music starts, dude, you don't hear nothing. It is so good. I was torn between this one and the Ramp, and then I listened to the Ramp. I was like, I mean, it's good. It's good. This one blows that one out of the water. Not kind of in the same vein. This one was just a little more. It's a little more. How can I put it? It's got a little more dirt with it, if that makes more sense. That the Ramp is like polished. This one's just got a little more street to it, if that makes sense. Amazing album. Really love it. And this one, I've seen this, dude. I've been on the hunt for this one for a long time. I've had a few kind of VG copies come my way. This one's got a near mint wax. That's Don Blackman, self-titled. 1980, what was this, 81, I think? 1980? No, 82. So he was a jazz funk keyboardist. I believe all these are original tracks from him. Yeah, Don. Oh, no, one is a Weldon Irvine. That second one on side 2, Let Your Conscience Be Your God. Yeah, really. This, from the drop of the needle on the first track, dude, you can't help but dance. And if you don't, there's something wrong with it. You need to seek some kind of help. And I'll pray for you. But yeah, dude, this is a phenomenal jazz funk record. And my wife was like, I don't like the way he's looking at me, so I gotta hide him in the back. I don't mind. He's telling me it's time to funk. It's time to get it on. Okay, last two. This one I didn't know anything about. I actually ordered this one. Where did I get this from? Greece. I had to seek out Greece. This is Malik Yaku. I think the B is silent. Malik. Somebody can correct me, but I think it's Yaku. I don't think you pronounce the B. But yeah, this is Private Press, 1980. 1980 pressing. What is the name of it? The House of Yaku. So it's just a private press. Great saxophonist. It's got organ, bass, and piano. So I did a little research on him. He actually did some. That's him right there. He actually did some recordings in the late 60s, I believe. One of those stories where he never amounted to anything. I hate saying it like that. Because it's a sought after record. It's great music. But I think just at that time there was just so much that was out then that he just never got the recognition. But he's got a tone. To me, it's a lot like Joe Henderson. It's fat. It's really fat tone. His changing in chords is really all over the place, kind of like Henderson does. He'll hit that every now and then. He'll hit that low fat, that low note while he's in his freestyle. Really nice stuff. Kind of a tough one to find. There's one for sale on Discogs right now, but dude's asking like $500. I doubt it's worth that much, but it's a great one of those private press. It's got that. It doesn't have more like a hard bop kind of feel. It's a little more contemporary because, like I said, this is 1980. So, but it's really good stuff. It's a shame. His story is one that that you hear about a lot. That their music doesn't get discovered till long after they're dead and gone, and that's unfortunate. But it's fortunate for us that we get to discover it and we get to appreciate it today. Okay. Last one, I got giddy when this one arrived. So I've been on the hunt for this in the States for a long time. It was only released in Germany originally when it came out. That's the Bloodsport original soundtrack. Paul Herzog did the music. This movie here, for any people my age, if you're a child of the 80s, this movie was you. Okay, you wanted to be him. When I was a kid, I could when I was like 6 years old to like 10 years old, I had no problem doing splits. I could do an American split, I could do a Chinese split, I could do a split between two chairs, kind of like he did in the movie. And I tried to mimic. This is funny. I tried to mimic the entire end fight of this movie. It's an incredible movie. Some people say it's cheesy, but if you watch this as a child, which you shouldn't be, if you watch this as a child like I did, I mean, this was just it was a staple in your VHS collection, no doubt. And I'm beyond stoked to have this. This has been reissued a bunch of times. There's all kind of different variants. But to find the original German pressing, especially here in America, is really tough. And I'm super, super duper happy to have that. I'll never part with that one. All right, that's it. 24-minute video. God, I talked a little longer than I thought. I appreciate all the new subscribers. Sorry it's been a while, man. You guys know I'm really busy. Follow my auctions. I appreciate it. Follow me on Instagram. I kind of post the rare stuff that I'm going to have up on my auction. And I'll be back, man. I got another show. I think there's a show coming up in Tennessee. I might make a drive out to. Hopefully this next auction will do well. And I think there's one before that in Orlando that might have some primo stuff. But I'll be out there digging, man, and I'll be back. We'll see you later.